Hey, I'm Danielle, and welcome to the Created Worthy podcast. On this show, you can join me as I sit down with women from a variety of ages, backgrounds, and experiences. Together, we will learn and grow from sharing each of our stories and experiencing the life-changing power of connection. So, whether you're here because you're a boss babe running your own empire and are just looking for some unconventional advice, or because you feel totally alone and are looking for stories to relate to, this is the podcast for you. You are welcome here. I believe we are all inherently worthy, and through faith, creative processing, and real connections, we can all continue moving forward to be the joy-filled, triumphant women we are created to be. Hello, and welcome to the Created Worthy podcast. I'm your host, Danielle, and I am so grateful that you are here listening today. Today is a special day, or at least maybe it should be. Today is actually my birthday. This podcast is releasing on the day of my birthday. So technically, I'm recording this on the Friday before my birthday, but August, 20th today? My birthday's on August 23rd, so it's right around the corner. When you hear this, potentially, if you're listening on the day that it's dropped, then it's my birthday. And oh boy, birthdays. They aren't always what they're cracked up to be, or not necessarily how society has told us that they should be. In my ideal world, I would come on and talk to you about all the exciting things that we're doing in celebration of my birthday, or would just talk about how fun birthdays can be. But that's not my story, and that's not necessarily my experience. Now, I will say in recent years, birthdays have been a lot better. I feel like the curse has hopefully, prayerfully been broken, but I know I'm not alone when I say that birthdays can kind of suck for a lot of people. In preparation for this podcast, I actually just started a few conversations with different friends and my brother, whose birthday is 2 days before mine, and just realized how many of us suffer through our birthdays instead of enjoying and celebrating them. And that, of course, makes me sad, but I think it's just a reality that I think we need to talk about because it's important. And you're not alone if you don't enjoy your birthday. So that's what we're going to talk about today. For a lot of years, I felt like there was a curse on my birthday, or honestly on my birthday month, because August has always been a time that I've started to really struggle with my depression and my anxiety, and it just kind of feels like there's a cloud. One of my friends, she was like, it just feels like there's a cloud over August. Like that's the month of her birthday too. And I was like, yeah, that's exactly how it feels. Like a cloud of bleh. Like, why do birthdays exist? It's so easy to crawl into that hole and just be like, okay, I'm going to just suffer through this. And honestly, it's not really your fault if that's how you feel. Yeah, there's some things that we can do to work on that and to reframe birthdays and redeem birthdays that have been bad. Maybe you have some bad memories attached to birthdays or around your birthday that just come up every year around that time. And that could be a reason why the depression surfaces, or the anxiety, or just the blah, blah, blah feeling. I know for me, that's something that I'm fighting through every year, is just kind of remembering, oh my gosh, there's been so many times that my birthdays have just caused huge problems, whether it was in my childhood, whether it was in my teenage years, or even now. Even if I have a great birthday, which I will tell you at the end of this podcast or somewhere in the middle of it, I'm going to tell you the story of when my birthday no longer became something that I dread, but rather now it's just something that still has some weight associated to it, but it's not as terrible as it has been in the past. But I'll tell you that a little bit later. But I know for myself, it's just like, dang, like what the heck? Why do I feel like poop? And then I feel guilty for feeling like poop around my birthday because people are like, oh, let's do this. Let's celebrate. Let's go out. Let's blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, I do want that, but I don't want to do that for my birthday. Like, can we celebrate like, I don't know, Virgo season? I have no idea. Like literally anything else but the title, my birthday. As I started to prepare for this episode, I decided I was going to try to timeline out just the birthdays that I can remember. And honestly, that's a really great creative processing tool or thing to do. So I will challenge you to try to timeline out all of your birthdays. If you can't remember, oh well, but just try. It was so helpful for me. And actually, I'm going to put a link in the show notes to a free PDF that will give you a template so that you can do this easily and just try it out. It doesn't have to be around your birthday right now. It's a good thing to just sit down and try to remember your birthdays. And then you can start to make connections as to why there's that cloud or why you feel anxious around that day. It helped me a lot, actually. Surprisingly, I felt so much better about doing this episode just from doing that one task. So I'm going to share with you just a few of the birthday stories that I remember from my childhood, transitioning into adulthood, and how it's changed. But I challenge you to do the same. And yeah, look for that resource down in the show notes. Okay, so the earliest memory I have of my birthday, I have no idea what age I was. It's surprising that this memory even came up because I've got such a block from my early childhood. But I remember being young and going to Chili's or Applebee's or something and them singing the song and me literally crawling underneath the table in fetal position, holding my knees and crying because I just hated that. I loved attention, but I hated that attention for some reason. So that was the earliest memory I had. Also, because my birthday is August 23rd, quite a few of my birthdays were on the first day of school. And I loved school. Like, it was a safe haven for me most of the time, depending on what school I was in, obviously. But I remember one time specifically in fourth grade when I was going to a Catholic school in Twin Falls, Idaho, a really small town. It's where Evel Knievel jumped over the canyon, in case you didn't know. But I was attending the Catholic school and it was the first day, and I decided I was going to try to test my limits and go to sleep, in air quotes, asleep on my desk and see if anyone said anything to me since it was my birthday. And I remember my teacher saying, don't wake her up. It's her birthday. Just let her sleep, whatever. And I was like, yes, finally, something that makes me special. It was so weird. But that was just one of the birthday memories that I remember from the first day of school. Then the next memory that came up was actually my Sweet 16, which was terrible, to be honest. I was in treatment at Mercy, like I talked about in episode 1. And it was, like I said, my Sweet 16. When you're at Mercy and you have a birthday, the girls can print out things and decorate your door to your bedroom. And I had a really sweet friend whose mom had a Cricut machine, and she asked her mom to send her a bunch of cutouts for my birthday door. So I got an awesome birthday door. That was amazing. A great start to my birthday because they do it the night before. So when you wake up, you see it. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. It was like pink and zebra, which is what I was super into at that time. And it was just really cool. And then the day started.
Hi, I'm Ella. Please listen to our word from our sponsor.
Hi, this is Danielle Damrell, and I am the founder and artist behind Danielle Damrell Creative Collective, Over the last 3.5 years, I've been compiling resources, and I'm excited to have finally created a platform where you can easily find them. DDCC is a continuously expanding collection of creative products, blogs, graphics, and custom pieces that aim to spread love, truth, and vulnerable encouragement. Head over to my website, damrellcreativeco.com, to find all kinds of resources, from playlists to help you with intentional creative processing to Amazon recommendations for all types of crafty things. I've got you covered. Oh, and make sure to check out the Worthy Collection, my most recent collection for obvious reasons, where you can find hand-drawn stickers and prints. This collection consists of truths and revelations that I've experienced over the last year. Make sure to check out the product descriptions on my website to read the stories behind each of the designs. So again, that's Damrell, DAMRELL, creativeco.com. I am honored to be the sole sponsor of this show right now. But if you'd like to partner with me, purchasing from the Worthy Collection is an incredible way to do so.
Hey, didn't you set up a Patreon too?
Oh, yeah. You can find me over on Patreon now too. Okay, back to the story.
I can't remember exactly what I did, but I had done something that was way against the rules. And on my 16th birthday, I was called into my counselor's office. I believe the director was there as well. And they said, "I'm really sorry to do this on your birthday, but we have to put you on probation again because what you did was out of line." And I was just like, oh, of course this would happen on my birthday. But obviously my own decisions made that happen, but that was just not fun. It was so annoying, and it just made my belief that there was a curse over my birthday even stronger. So actually the next year, it wasn't on my birthdays directly, but it was within weeks, maybe days of my birthday when I started really spiraling. And I had been spiraling for a couple months, but August was tough. And at the end of August or beginning of September, I was kicked out of the family that I was living with. And that was also what I talked about in episode 1 or episode 0, where it was the first time I felt like I had a family. And then I got myself kicked out of that because of my own decisions. And so it was easy for me to just associate that memory with it also being my birthday. So that wasn't fun. I believe my 18th birthday, I moved into my college dorm room. I don't really remember anything else, which to me is good because I'm like, okay, there's no traumatic memory associated with my 18th birthday. That's good. Then I turned 19 the very next year. And it was like a week before or the week of my birthday, I got fired from my job. My boyfriend at the time got fired from his job. And I decided I wasn't going to hold to my boundaries anymore. And I just didn't care. And I was going to have sex with my boyfriend because whatever, like nothing else was going right. Like what harm is that going to do? And that's when I got pregnant, was right around my birthday. What the heck? So that was my 19th birthday. And then on my 21st birthday, I was on probation because I think I maybe talked a little bit about it, but 3 months after Ella was born, there was an altercation between my ex and I, and it just was bad. It was really, really bad. And I went to jail and was put on probation and had to take, what are they called? Drug tests. There's like an official name for them. But I had to take drug tests randomly, so I never knew when I was going to have them, even though it was not at all a drug or alcohol related offense. It was just like, that's part of the treatment that is required in the state of Colorado. So on my 21st birthday, I didn't drink, didn't do anything super fun. I mean, we went to the melting pot, but it was awkward and just a weird time. But yeah, that was my 21st. My 22nd birthday, I was laid off from a job for unknown reasons. There was literally no reason that he could give me. And other than just like office politics that were weird and honestly totally unfair, but that's just part of life. And honestly, that turned into such a great thing for me because it allowed me to rediscover my path and start making strides forward in the entrepreneurship world. But again, right around my birthday, another thing happened that altered the course of my life, and it made me sad. It made me scared for all birthdays. Ever since I was a teenager, I had this weird thought constantly that I would be dead by the age of 22. So when I turned 22, I also just felt so scared because I was like, okay, I think this is the year that I'm going to die. Even though I had been in therapy and I'd been trying to unwind all of these weird beliefs that I had somehow developed, there was just like this back thought, that whole year that I was like, oh my gosh, like I could die. I've been saying this, like maybe I spoke that over my life. Maybe like God's going to teach me a lesson because that's what I've always thought, that I would die by the time I'm 22. So when I got to my 23rd birthday, I was honestly shocked. And the 23rd birthday, my 23rd birthday, was the birthday that really everything changed for me. And the reason for that was because my husband, my now husband, surprised me and asked me to marry him on that day in a public place, which was really weird for him because he's very private, and in front of my friends. And he also publicly declared his faith in front of our friends. And that was a really big deal. He also got me my dream ring that I didn't think that he was going to get me. And I had just been completely blindsided because I had really, really, really wanted to get engaged on my birthday, but he had totally convinced me that it wasn't possible. The ring was delayed. Like, okay, yes, we went and picked out 3 different rings and then he got to choose from those options. But I just thought it wasn't possible because we were having all kinds of issues, and he like was adamant that it was not going to happen and to not have my hopes up because he knew that I would be so pissed if I thought it was going to happen and it didn't. So he had done a really good job and he convinced me that it wasn't going to happen, and then it did. And I was shocked. Like, if I know that a surprise is coming, I'm like anxious and weird and I'm like, just tell me, I don't like surprises. But I had no idea. No idea. So when he asked me on my 23rd birthday, it was my golden birthday. It was a monumental milestone for me because I thought I was going to die by the time I was 22 for, like I said, unknown reasons. I just thought that was going to happen. And he told me he wanted to love and serve Jesus with me forever. Like, oh my gosh. I just knew in that moment that God was doing something big and he was redeeming my birthday. And like I said, that's really when my mindset shifted around birthdays. Now I can celebrate it as the best day of my life, to be honest. Like, my 23rd birthday was perfect. Everything was perfect about it. And it wasn't super extravagant. Yeah, we went out to dinner. He asked me. It was a beautiful time. But afterwards, it was just him and I. We went back to our home and we picked up a cake from the local grocery store, like just a little personal cake. I put candles on it, and then I made him sing me happy birthday at the very end of the night. And I was just on cloud 9. And it truly, truly was one of the best days, the best day of my life. I know that sounds weird because a lot of people are like, it was my wedding day that was the best day. Or they're like, the birth of my child was the best day. But honestly, both of those days became painful memories for me because of varying situations and circumstances at the time. At the time we got engaged, it was just like everything worked out perfectly, and I didn't have to do any of the legwork to make it go that way. So kind of gave me the ability to trust that God knew what I needed, and I could trust that Gary would do and knew what I needed as well. So, yeah, 23rd, everything changed, but here I am. It's my 26th birthday, and I feel blah and a little bit depressed again. Is it because I don't believe that God can continue to redeem birthdays? No, absolutely not. I continue to believe that God will make them great, or will take away the sting from them at least. But if you know anything about depression and trauma or PTSD, you know that triggers don't just go away. Sometimes God works in mysterious ways and he removes triggers, but for most people, they're ongoing, and it's something you have to deal with every single time something comes up. Every single time you're triggered, you have to learn how to handle that. And eventually, when you have the skills and the tools in place and community or resources, then those triggers don't become so overwhelming and they don't dictate your life as much. But that doesn't mean that they just go away. Honestly, when I think about my 26th birthday, I'm like, oh, great. Now I can rent a car and I lose my really good insurance. Yay! But I have had to work hard, even in this moment, to take captive those thoughts and think, you know what? I have control over what makes my birthday good, over what makes this moment good. So am I going to sit in this feeling of, now I have to figure out new insurance, or now I have to fill in the blank? Or I can just say, you know what? I'm grateful for another year on this planet, that I'm able to work and love and grow and be connected and live. I think this year has taught so many of us just how harsh the reality is of death. It's something that you can't avoid. Everyone's going to die someday, and you never know when that's going to happen. Only God knows when your last day is. But am I going to choose to be angry that it's my birthday? Or am I just going to choose to say, you know what? It's okay. I'm okay. God is good. I have another year to live, and there is a plan for my life. So that's what I try to cling to. I'm not the best at it. I'm still very much learning. It's progress, and I'm proud of myself for that. I think as we get older and we have more birthdays and we forget even what age we are, I've been telling people for the whole last year that I'm 26 because I literally couldn't remember. Like, it's so ridiculous. As we get older, and they do naturally kind of become less significant except for those milestone birthdays, it's okay for your birthday to not be this huge thing. I think that it would be really awesome if our culture started embracing the person's desires for their own birthday. For example, my husband is turning 40 this year, and everything in me, my extroverted side and community-oriented side, is like, I want to call all of his friends from all over and have them fly in, and we'll have this grand birthday party, and it's going to be amazing, and he's going to love it, and he's going to see all of these people and be so surprised, and I'm going to make it the best thing ever. But that's not what he wants. And thankfully, he told me that, because I probably would have done the big grand birthday party thing. But instead, he's like, please do not plan a party. Do not plan a party. And I was like, okay, I need to respect that, because I want him to feel celebrated. I want him to feel loved. And the best way for me to love him is to plan a day that is just full of things that he wants to do. Like, I'm going to tell him not to listen to this episode, but we're going to go to a spa. He's been wanting to go to a spa so bad. I don't think he's ever gone to a spa, but we're going to go to one on his birthday. We're going to go to a comedy show of a comedian he knows really well and just happens to be here his birthday weekend. We're going to go to a hotel, preferably that has a sauna, since he loves saunas. We're going to go to a new exhibit they have in Denver that is just looks so cool and so fun. And we're going to do one more thing, but I forgot. But I'm planning like an itinerary, and I'm planning blocks to where we can just go sit at the hotel, sit by the pool, and have fun together and just enjoy each other's company. And I know that that will mean so much more to him than me doing what I think he should want and planning a party. So I think that society as a whole, and all of us in this society, need to maybe shift our mindsets a little bit, even for our own birthdays. You know, it's okay to not want to do anything or not want to plan anything, but it's not okay to be mad because somebody didn't plan something for you and you feel hurt because they, quote, forgot your birthday. That's not the case. Most of the time, that's not the case. But if you don't know what you want and you say you don't want to do anything, well, then maybe people are honoring that. If you do want to do something, that's great. That's awesome. Talk about it. Maybe you have to plan it. I've had to plan so many of my own birthdays, even when I was younger. And did I have the desire for somebody else to have done that? Yeah, absolutely I did. But looking back, it's like, okay, well, at least I did something. Like, at least I planned to do something like that I thought I wanted to do. So if that's you, if you do want to have a big birthday party, or maybe it's a milestone birthday and you're like, hey, it would mean a lot for me to not have to plan my own birthday or not have to plan this at all, but I'd really like to do something. Find your close group of friends that you trust and tell them, or tell your spouse, or tell your mom, or tell whoever it is who you trust can help you to achieve that goal of just having a good birthday that meets what your desires are. But if you don't know, then you can't expect anyone else to know. Sometimes we get surprise parties and you're genuinely surprised and it's fun. Other times people are surprised and it makes them uncomfortable and they feel like awkward because all the attention's on them and they don't like that. We need to be aware of that. That's what I'm trying to say here. Is just be aware of the person and their birthday. For me, this year, I'm like, you know what? I just want to see some family that we haven't seen in a long time and go see their new remodeled house, maybe grab some dinner, and that's it. I love messages, text messages, anything, any act of service. That's my primary love language, is what I love on my birthday. So even when just one person sends me a message, it's like, hey, Danielle, happy birthday. I'm like, wow, thank you for thinking about me. That means a lot. Now, there are some birthdays that I'm going to want to party, and I'll make it perfectly clear to the people around me that I want to party. And if I wanted a specific way, then I'm going to figure out a way to make that happen. I learned that lesson from my wedding. I should have hired a planner. So next time when we do our wedding redoal, which we are doing, don't steal that term from me. I have been talking about it since like the day after we got married. But when we do our wedding redoal at our 10-year anniversary, I want to have everything planned way beforehand. And I don't necessarily want to be the one doing the planning. I want to be the bride. And I'm going to make that the priority. And I'm going to make sure that people who show up to that party feel like they are celebrating with us together and we're just having fun. I think maybe I'll want something like that for my 30th birthday. So if that's the case, then probably when I turn 29, I'm going to start planning it so that that can happen. But if I just am like, oh, I don't know, maybe we'll go out to dinner. Maybe someone will surprise me, or I just hope that somebody does it for me. It's like, I'm setting myself up for failure. And I think that happens a lot. This isn't to shame anyone or to make anyone feel like you should feel a certain way about your birthday. We're all so different, right? Like there are introverts, there are extroverts, there are Enneagram 1s, there are Enneagram 4s like me, there are Enneagram 9s like my husband. There are all kinds of people in this world, and everybody has different desires. So to shift the cloud and to make someone feel like they need to feel good about their birthday is not going to help them. It's just not. Instead, I challenge you to just consider the person. Either ask or let them know that, hey, this is what I'd like to do. What do you think? Or just be with them. Maybe they really don't want to do anything. They just want to know that they're loved or need to be reminded of that. If you're super depressed, sometimes doing something feels like too much energy to give. But we can honor that. We can honor people where they're at. And if they are going through depression, like, that's okay. Everybody goes through something. And a lot of people are triggered by their birthdays. So let's keep that in mind. And for those of you who do enjoy your birthday, or birthdays have been a bright spot in your life or a bright time in your life, something you look forward to, that's a blessing. I think we need to recognize it as that. That's awesome. And honestly, truly, I am so glad that you haven't experienced trauma or pain or even just the dread of your birthday. That's amazing. That's an incredible, incredible blessing. So remember that and thank God for that. If your birthday isn't that, you're not alone. I just feel like God has really put that on my heart for this episode. I'm sorry if this has been super depressing for you. That is never my intention, but I am here to talk about the realities of life and trauma, and sometimes birthdays are just... Yep, I just made a fart noise. So, happy birthday to all of you, and I hope you have a wonderful week. So, that's it. That's the end of this. Join me next week where I will be talking to an incredible woman and friend, and she has some big things happening in her life that you won't want to miss. So tune in next week. Bye, guys. Thank you so much for listening to the Created Worthy podcast. If you want to connect more, you can follow along with me over at Danielle Damrell or Damrell Creative Co. on Instagram and Facebook. If you would like to help build a community, you can join the Created Worthy Community Facebook group, a no judgment zone and a place where you can come as you are and be inspired by other women who maybe have a creative processing idea or might even have a dilemma in life that they just want to share about and would like some honest advice. Side note, I am looking for a few honest souls and people who feel called to lead in a small capacity right now to be the admins of this group. I will show up as much as possible, but I would love to build the foundation of this group with a few other women who have the passion to love and provide a safe space for others. If this is you, email me. My email is in the show notes. Last, but certainly not least, if you learned something or gained value from this episode at all, share the love and send it to a friend or post a screenshot. If you post it on social media, be sure to tag me, although I am on a social media break right now, so I probably won't share it. But still, share the word. It means a lot. And please, take 5 seconds, scroll down on your phone, make sure you subscribe, rate, and review. It really does matter. When you subscribe, rate, and review, you make it possible for other people similar to you to see my show. And that's so helpful. So please do it. 5 stars. 5 stars only. If you didn't like it, just don't listen again. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye.